Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we have a pregnancy update and second trimester Q&A all rolled into one. I, as you'll be watching this, have just arrived back off of my baby moon. So I'm pre-filming this in advance so you guys actually have a video. Now, one thing before we get into the Q&A. I think, from my memory, that Instagram has deleted a lot of my questions and I've seen this happening with other people. Just really hoped it wouldn't be happening to me because I've been through these questions several times and they've been fine. Gone to look at them today and there's significantly less than there were, so if I haven't answered your question, I'm so sorry. Some I may not answer for fear of getting like a lot of conflicting information back at me, especially with regard to birth plan. I will be talking about it but not like significantly in detail. I don't feel like any of us need to be reading other people's like horror stories in the comments, or just sometimes too much information is actually not helpful because one of you might say one thing, one of you might say another. So in terms of things like that, if I seem vague answering it, that's why. Anything I seem vague on answering is in terms of protecting my own mental health. But without further ado, and I'm ignoring the fact that in the viewfinder I'm slightly concerned I look like Cindy Lou. I fear I may have over contoured, but anyway. First question, when did you start buying baby things? I actually think so many people I know bought baby things for me earlier than I bought baby things. Firstly, it was let's wait until we're like 9 weeks, and then it was 12 weeks, and then it was, oh, I'm gonna wait till like 20 weeks ish to announce my pregnancy online. Let's not get caught like pram shopping too early because that we can't spin that. So I don't think I actually bought anything until, apart from one jelly cat, I think that might have been January, but apart from that I think we waited until literally the day we posted our video saying that I was pregnant. So for 4 months, I was 19, 20 weeks. So quite, I feel like that's quite late compared to, I know some people choose to like really not buy anything until the last dying second. But in terms of other people I know and how soon they chose to buy things, like we were very, very late. So many of my friends bought things for baby girl way earlier than I did. And because of that, we're still catching up. We really don't have a lot. So once we are back off baby moon, best believe Amazon is being hit hard. How are you finding birth prep courses and how engaged is it with regards to DIY? Right, that was really hard to read. So I still haven't had my first antenatal class yet. I was recommended like a certain amount of weeks to be at to book it. I think they said like 32 to 34 weeks, so I've pre-booked it for then. TBC on that. I don't love group things, so I'm not super excited about it, but am I doing it anyway? Yes. I've also downloaded the Positive Birthing Company. I did the ultimate birthing package that they do, so it does pregnancy, birth, and then post birth like bits to know, which I really wanted that bit specifically. Like I downloaded it quite late in my pregnancy, so the pregnancy section not so useful, but actually obviously the birthing package and then the post-birth package. I think the post-birth package for me is going to be the most useful. What I'm finding with the hypnobirthing so far, it's really good in terms of my general approach to things, but apart from that, like in terms of the mentality in which you approach things with, that's generally I've done a lot of therapy and I've found that I did elements of hypnotherapy in my own personal therapy, so there's a lot of repetition that I'm finding of stuff that I already know, and like relaxation techniques and all of that, and keeping yourself really calm, and so far very repetitive. But in terms of like the types of birth and like the pros and cons, that's where it gets like, so basically later in the course it gets more useful. Then in terms of like the post birth, I'm so excited to get to that because I feel like there are so many gaps in my knowledge, and whilst I worked with kids, I don't feel like I worked with young enough kids, and I just feel very clueless on 3 and under, which is literally, that's about to be the next 3 years of my life. So that's how I'm finding the whole educational side at the moment. There's not really a lot to report. I haven't done like an antenatal class or anything like that yet. Did you time pregnancy according to a preferred birth month? Whilst I have preferred birth months, I was under no expectation that I would actually pull this off, but I had always said anything from kind of like April all the way up till November. I just really didn't want to give birth. Christmas, January, February, March, like those months for me are not, in terms of my mental health, are not fun months. I really struggle in the darker months of the year. I love summer, so doing something that I find really hard at a time of year where I mentally am at my strongest, that seemed to make sense to me. But in that sense, we were just incredibly lucky, because it could have taken months and months and months, and I could have been having a December baby. So we just really didn't know. It's just one of those go with the flow things. But yes, I did have some preferred months, and I would have preferred not September, because I didn't want baby girl to be a Virgo, because they don't like me. But you know who does like me? Cancers. We vibe. My last two best friends have been Cancers. Like, there's a good vibe there, so I'm hoping baby girl's gonna love me based on her star sign. Best trick to staying active in the gym when out of breath and tired all the time. To be honest, my workout routines have always been very low intensity anyway, so I've actually found it really easy in that sense to maintain my workout schedule, because I'm not one for a HIIT class. For me, sticking to low intensity workouts really helped. So reformer Pilates, for me, it is very chill. Like, you can literally, if you wanted to, you could go to reformer and basically do like an assisted stretch on the machine, which is not what I do. I actually beg my instructor to continue making it harder. And in terms of my walk and the treadmill, the only thing I've had to do is like really reduce my speed, and I do that very intuitively as I'm feeling like my body kind of like push back against the level that I'm doing. And I definitely am out of breath all the time, but whilst I'm out of breath, I'm still like managing, like I can still run up the stairs. It's not been that bad, but it was so active. Like, we literally have just come off the back of a wedding and gotten pregnant, so I would say my fitness was kind of at its peak. So it's been quite beneficial getting pregnant that way around. Have you been sick at all? Now, if you have a phobia of sick, like, you're gonna be fine throughout this, because the answer is actually like not really. I think once. It was very minimal. It's actually more frustrating because I would prefer that to the constant 24/7 nausea that I had. That was what plagued me my entire first trimester, and it just didn't let up. It would get worse at night. But apart from that, I did get off very, very, very lucky. The only frustrating thing is I just would rather not have nausea and have it the other way around a little bit. Would I? But aside from that, I did get off very, very lucky in that sense, depending on how you look at it, depending on what you'd rather. Positive changes in the second trimester. That the nausea stopped. I have really enjoyed it when that stopped. It got less and less. It was always the worst at night, and when it was only at night and then I was managing to sleep through it, that was stunning. Pregnancy is not the time of my life, so I don't I actually don't know, because people said I would feel less tired. I actually have felt more tired at times during the second trimester than I did in the first. I guess emotionally, like recently, the last like maybe 5-6 weeks, I've felt much better and much more myself. Hormonally, at the start of the second trimester, I was a nightmare. I was literally like, I spent the first 4 weeks of the second trimester like in pieces. I'm glad that stopped now, because that was I was just not in a good place mentally. I didn't want to be left alone. I found at the start of the second trimester that a lot of the things that I was told would be amazing and would come were just not coming, and I was like, I hate this. But now actually, the closer I've got to the third trimester, like the better I felt, which is kind of weird because I feel like a lot of people don't say that. But other than that, I don't really know. The second trimester has been such a mixed bag. I think especially with our 20-week scan and things flagging, if you haven't seen that vlog, I will link it. It's been such a mixed bag that it's kind of hard. It's hard to pick out things. I guess like for me, the last couple of weeks, having felt more myself mentally has been really nice, but equally on the flip side, I'm so tired because I have pregnancy insomnia. The baby brain kicked in. I would say one thing that's really nice is like I feel like something has switched in my brain where I just feel more like loving and compassionate. That's not to say I wasn't before, but it's just like more. Every single thing the dog does is cute right now, and she's adorable before, but like everything she does and the way I speak to her is just very different. It's just like literally been like an overnight switch, along with the pregnancy insomnia, and I think that is like a hormonal thing of your brain prepping you. The pregnancy insomnia definitely is, because my midwife confirmed that. I was like, please make it stop, and she was like, I can't. Did you struggle to find names? Yes, I'm sure we'll talk about names a little bit more throughout this, but yes, Ryan loves a traditional name, and I love not a weird name, but I like slightly more unique names. I'm still very fussy, but in a different way. Ryan really likes like a traditional name that he's very familiar with. He likes a lot of his friends' names, which I was like, absolutely not. That's so confusing. We cannot be naming our children after like your best man. That was when we didn't know. So yeah, we are struggling to find names, and I also didn't want them to be like the 5th, I don't know, Harper in their year. I love Harper so much, but I feel like it's so popular at the moment, and I know growing up, as much as my name was such a rogue one and no one else had it. My full name is Susanna, by the way, for anyone that's like, Susie's very common. Susanna was so one end of the scale, and then I also have my Laurens. I had so many Laurens, and they all hated the fact that they were all called Lauren. So I really wanted to find a really nice balance somewhere in the middle, something that's not too popular, not too trendy, equally not too weird, but not as, I don't know, mature as Susanna, because I felt like that was such a mature name for me to have for the most part of my life. Even now I feel like it's still a bit too mature for me, so I'm trying to find that sweet spot. What is the nursery theme? So I feel like we may have answered this in the last vlog. I will link it, but we're going for a beigey pink, warm tones, wooden furniture kind of vibe. I've tried to take into account like the light that the room gets and things like that. Yeah, I just wanted it to feel like warm and cozy and not too many different tones going on, something that felt really relaxing, because for the next kind of year or so this is more a room for me than for her, so I wanted to balance that sweet spot of like a room that she can grow into and we don't have to repaint all the time and all of that kind of thing with mum's preferences. The Jellycats have a rough theme, browns, pinks, sweet treats, that kind of thing. Yeah, just wanted like a nice, like neutral, relaxing vibe for her nursery slash my baby room. Anything that's been different to how you envisioned it to be in pregnancy so far? I think me and quite a few of my friends have this, like, not thinking that it was going to be really easy, because I definitely didn't. Like, I would not have put it off until this point in my life if I thought it was gonna, like, I didn't think it was gonna be easy at all. I knew it was gonna be hard. You see pregnant people on Instagram and you just think, oh, like, they look so nice, like, that's so nice, they must feel so like nice. I've not felt nice in myself since maybe week 4 of pregnancy. Honestly, I've not really felt quite myself, like, when I look in the mirror. And I don't know if it's just like hormonally there's a lot going on, and then my body dysmorphia is also just like extending to my face. I honestly couldn't tell you, but yeah, I've not really felt like pretty and like nice. And then I wasn't really expecting like the sudden growth that I have, or like the growth, how the growth spurts kind of happen. You think that you're just kind of gradually going to get bigger and bigger, but it kind of, for me, happens in like stages of going from like, I'll have a few weeks where I'm like this, and then a few weeks where I'm like this. You can't predict it. So some days you go to get dressed and things literally don't fit. In terms of that, that's not something I was expecting at all. I thought it was just like such a nice gradual thing, but the fact that it kind of comes in waves definitely surprised me. Hormonally, I actually thought I was going to be worse, I have to be honest. That, and just like, I don't know, being snappy. Like, I was grumpy AF in the first trimester. Like, if Ryan cooked something that was too smelly, I hated him. But actually I was really able to control the snappiness, and after my like very hormonal January, I've actually found it really easy to like have a good amount of mental control, which I really didn't think I'd have. I thought, oh god, I'm probably going to be like just completely raging all the time and just be horrible to be around. But actually Ryan has confirmed of his own accord, he was like, I actually am so surprised at how like chill you are as a pregnant person. One thing I wasn't expecting is how attached I would get to baby in the bump. That, and like the 20-week scan, and there being a bit of a scare, and like there was a very scary little few sentences in the leaflet that I was handed that literally, like, they sent me spiraling. And I didn't really ever envision like how attached you could be to someone that's not actually out in the world yet. I think one of my worries was always that I would struggle to attach for some. I don't know why. I have like my attachment issues are very minimal. But yeah, I always wondered if I would actually be okay with like being a mum, and like when they're here, like being like, oh, I've just got this thing. I thought I would be like that, but I don't know, I feel very different with her in there. That's definitely something that I was not expecting at all. I've always described myself as not being maternal in any way, shape or form. So it's been a really nice surprise. Honestly, people are gonna be like, why did you think getting pregnant was a good idea? In my first trimester currently, congrats. What helped you through? Food, vitamins, etc. I think for my first trimester I literally just took folic acid and vitamin D, like the Boots ones that you get. Food, nothing. I still am really funny with food now, to be fair. All I want to eat is like fruit or anything sweet. It can be artificial, it can be not. It genuinely does not matter. If it's sweet tasting, I'll take it. But yeah, it doesn't actually help. It actually is really not helpful if you have heartburn, which is just all the time. Yeah, I didn't find there was any food that really, because I had just constant nausea, there was nothing I could do. Like, some people eat crackers first thing in the morning, and all of the like tips, none of them helped me because it was just this constant car sickness. In fact, eating less, like just small amounts, not regularly, just small amounts. That sounds like I don't eat anything, I do. But yes, just not eating crazy amounts in general throughout this pregnancy has always been like much better for me. I'm now on like tiny weeny portions throughout the day, but first trimester I actually, if I tried to eat breakfast, which people were advising me to do left, right and centre, I was actually better off sticking to my pre-pregnancy eating routine of like little lunch, dinner, that being it. I actually felt so much better doing that than trying to eat more frequently. How are the months counted in pregnancy? I'm confused. I honestly don't. People ask me how many months I am. I don't know, because I don't really bother with that. I just medically know how many weeks I need to be when I'm speaking to a doctor. I don't really know. I think now we've gone through April, I'm 6 months. Just lie. No one's actually gonna fact check. Updated skincare routine. Honestly, just love a cleanser, a hydrating serum and a moisturizer, and I'm really lucky. My skin has been the best it's been during pregnancy in a very long time, with very minimal skincare. And it's not the skincare at all, it's just the pregnancy. All I'm doing is making sure I keep my skin as hydrated as possible, because we just want it to be nice and like plump and juicy. So I use a variety of cleansers. I spoke about that in the last vlog as well. I'm currently using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Serum and then the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream in the morning. Sometimes I use Charlotte Tilbury Water Cream, and then in the evening I'm using the Caudalie Premier Cru moisturizer. So just very plain, not crazy things. I'm not really trying to have like a thriving skincare routine in this time. Like, my skin's just gonna do what it's gonna do, and I'm just gonna let it and try and keep it as hydrated as best I can, and that is literally about it. Is it true that you have lots of energy and this time so far is the best compared to the first? Not for me. Like, thoroughly enjoying, and I know this will not be the case in maybe like a month or so, but currently thoroughly enjoying early third trimester life. The closer I got to the end of my second trimester, the better I have felt. And I really want everyone to sit with that, because I felt so broken at the start of the second trimester because I wasn't in line with the traditional second trimester vibes. So if you're not having a thriving second trimester, it's okay. Pregnancy is just hard. And I said to someone recently, actually, my friends text me and they were like, how are you doing? And I was just honest, because normally I'd just be like, yeah, fine. But I felt like I've been really MIA because I just wasn't really doing great and I didn't really want to talk to anyone. And I was like, I'm just gonna be honest. And I was like, I'm really grumpy, I'm really tired, I feel like shit most days, blah blah blah. And you know, you get back the, are you getting enough sleep? Babes, I'm sleeping for a full like 12 hours and I'm still exhausted. And they were like, oh, that's so weird. And I was like, no, actually I don't think it is weird. I think most people just can't be bothered when they are pregnant, because you get things back like, are you sleeping enough? And you're like, of course I'm sleeping enough. So you just end up lying. And I said to them, I was like, no, I don't think this is abnormal. I think a lot of people just lie in pregnancy when you ask them how they are, and they'll just say they're fine and actually they've just vomited. So yeah, where was I going with this? What was my question? Basically just like, don't compare to what people tell you is going to happen, because it's not always the case for everyone. And sometimes even if someone says that, you know, the second trimester was better, they just mean marginally. Honestly, every day is just very different. I feel like I'm very negative about this, but every day is so different that it's hard to be like, yeah, pregnancy is great, or pregnancy is absolutely, like, there are some days where you feel great, there's some days I forget that I'm actually pregnant if it weren't for the bump and the being kicked, and then other days I just absolutely hate everything about being pregnant, and I'm like, I'm ready for the summer, I'm ready to be done. And then there are days where I'm like, I could do this forever, this is so nice. Like, it really is such a roller coaster. Have you decided on your birth plan? And if so, did you use a template? And I want to talk about this because I did not know until I googled birth plans. By the way, if you are thinking about getting pregnant, Google will be your new best friend. I think my Google searches have like quadrupled, if not more. Like, the amount of things I Google every single day is just absolutely obscene now. And I thought I Googled a lot before. I'm very reliant on Google. But I didn't realise until I Googled birth plan that people sell like Etsy templates for birth plans. I was like, do we need a pretty birth plan? Like, I respect this because I like pretty things. You know me, I like to like mood board constantly. Like, I love that vibe. But I was like, wow, I actually don't know if I can be doing like a full stunning birth plan. Like, my birth plan's probably going to be about 61 pages long. How does this design work across multiple pages? No, not for me. I also didn't realize how in depth they went in terms of like how you're spoken to and who is spoken to, and like there is just so much. Like, even the NHS template that you can download, there's just so much that goes on them, and I'm like, I don't actually know that I care about half of this stuff, but I'm just gonna think about it anyway. But yeah, I have been working on my birth plan. For me, the priority is like obviously safety, but also like the least stressful situation possible. So like a lot of what I am choosing is to like minimize stress, and I have like, it differs widely. It goes from like one extreme to another based on different scenarios. Basically, I spoke to my midwife and she recommended that for me I do a early on time overdue. Is late? I don't know, but for me it worked best in that way. I found that really helpful. And basically, whether she appears of her own accord or not, like, my birth plan just does change a little bit. I'm not like, it has to be this way and nothing else. I'm quite like open to different options. It has a lot of variables and there's a lot of my own personal preferences in it, which is why I'm not kind of telling you what each one is. After I give birth, I'd rather talk about what my birth plan was and all the different options, and then what actually happened through the experience. Also, the other thing I would say in terms of birth plan is, for me, I'm not talking to everyone about my birth plan. I am talking to people who have a similar mentality to me. So I'm very, for the most part, type B. There are certain elements of my life where I switch on the type A because you have to, like financially, and also in terms of like certain things to do with baby, I turn very type A because it's important that I am organized and like on top of things in that respect. But in terms of me and how I approach life and everything, I am very type B, very chill, very kind of like, well, we'll just see what happens, go with the flow. Like, I don't want to stress about things. So I have quite a specific approach to stuff like this. So when I speak to people about my birth plan, I'm making sure that it's people that are kind of on the same page as me, rather than like if someone's very likes to know what is happening and very organized and very like that that type of person is not going to like my birth plan. I tailor who I take feedback, or who I allow to like be even given a chance to give feedback on the birth plan, because I just think if someone is so different mentally to you, how is the feedback going to be useful? So that's another reason I don't really want to give away too much, because you might be completely different to me, and then me telling you every detail of my birth plan, that might actually be counterproductive to you. So that is my biggest bit of birth plan advice, is just actually tailor who you talk to about your birth plan, because it's actually very nice feeling positive when you talk to people about your birth plan and not feeling scared. Have you decided on a name for baby girl yet? Is it a traditional, modern or whimsical name? We have a final two and we're waiting until she appears to kind of like make sure. Honestly, I don't know where the names really fit into. I don't know how I'd describe, I genuinely, that's so unhelpful, but I genuinely don't know how I'd describe the names. I don't feel like they are whimsical, but I also don't feel like they're really traditional either. I think one of them is maybe modern, but not in a way of it being too modern and too like out there. My names are not breaking the mold. I feel like one of them is quite popular in like another country and one of them is quite popular in the UK. I don't feel like, yeah, I'm not breaking the mold. I'm not like, what's the word? I'm not pushing the boat out. I don't know what the phrase is I'm trying to think of, but like, I love them, but also I had to get them signed off by Mr. Traditional, so they're not as weird as they could be. Let me show you how rogue they could have been. And to be honest, they're still probably not particularly wild, because I surpassed my phase of wanting to call my child Winter and stuff like that. Still love Winnie though. still really love Winnie. So we have got Clementine, Valentina, Hattie, oh I love Hattie, Harley, Harper, Marlo, Anastasia, Sadie, love Sadie, Romy, I know so many people that have a Romy, it's not gonna work for me. Yeah. So when I told my mum the 2 names that we have as options, she was like, I never would have picked those for you. Like they're really nice, but I never would have thought you'd choose those names. And then I took her through the bottom of the baby names list that I just read out to you, and I literally got to Valentina and she was like, there you are. So the bottom of the baby names list really apparently sums me up, but we're not going there. But I do, in fairness, I like a lot of names, so I found this much easier than Mr. Ryan did. Mr. Ryan struggled endlessly in the process. Any new cravings? Now, this is the thing, apart from like liking sweet stuff, I don't have any cravings. Like, you know, some people send their husbands or partners or whoever out for like pickles and Marmite at like 2 in the morning. I don't do that. Like, I got nothing, guys. The only thing I would say is I really love a burger and a milkshake. Will this be something I develop in the 3rd trimester? I don't know. I'd love to know. Is it very normal to not have cravings? Because everyone keeps asking me and I'm like, I don't have any. Have any of your tattoos moved or changed shape with your bump? No, because I actually did think about this. As much as I don't think a lot of things through, the girl with Bossy on the back of her arm, I am quite spontaneous, or have been spontaneous in the past with tattoos. The one thing that I always had was a rule of like my stomach, and actually the tattoos on my side, they curved with my body specifically so that there wouldn't be stretching, so they're all absolutely fine. How are you feeling? Marriage, new mom, all the things. Do you feel supported emotionally? Firstly, well, number one, my village around me is the best village that I could ever ask for, but I actually wouldn't have volunteered myself as tribute for this if I didn't think that I would be well supported throughout this process, because I just think being a parent is so hard. I genuinely wouldn't have wanted to do this if I didn't think I was going to be well supported throughout this, and like Ryan has been just beyond incredible, which honestly, am I surprised? No, honestly no. My mum and dad have just been amazing, like just so, I don't know, just like it's just felt so nice and so good, and that's just been amazing. And in terms of like getting married and getting pregnant and it basically all being at the same time, I feel like for some people that's a lot, but for me, weirdly, I think that was what I needed. Like, I actually said to Ryan the other day, I was just like, I just feel like so free now. I think maybe when I was younger I was always just so worried that it wouldn't happen for me, so I'm just like, oh, I just feel like I've done all the things and this feels so nice, and I'm not like, oh my god, what's next, because I've been planning and thinking about this for a long time. But I'm kind of like, oh, it's so nice that I just feel like free. I feel like no one's asking me when I'm going to get engaged or married or have a baby. I'm just like, well, I've done it. I've done it. This is so nice. So in terms of that, I actually feel really mentally very good. It doesn't feel overwhelming to me, I think, because I've been wanting to do these things for such a long time. I just feel very content, feel very free. It's nice. I don't know. What has been your most difficult thing about pregnancy? Honestly, the body changes, and that was always going to be it for me. As someone who has been bullied about her size multiple times throughout her life and is still bullied over her size online as an adult, even if no one says anything, the little voice in the back of my head that like has absorbed all of that energy over the years, it was never going to be an easy ride. Like earlier I was trying on my clothes for my baby moon for the 3rd time, because I have to repeatedly try everything on to make sure everything fits, and there was just one thing that I tried on, and immediately I was like, I was really excited about this outfit, and it actually looks so horrendous. And people say to me all the time, they're like, oh my god, you're doing pregnancy styling so well. What I show you is the best of the bunch, but the majority of things look terrible. There have been many a almost tearful meltdown, which actually not really a dramatic change from me pre-pregnancy, because I would still have like an anxiety moment of like, I hate my outfit before leaving the house. But it's definitely been harder being pregnant. It's hard when some days you put your clothes on and they just suddenly don't fit anymore, and you're like, I don't have another pair of jeans. Like I am prepped ahead of time with different size jeans, but like even I bought a pair of maternity ones, they were useless. I outgrew them so quickly. Like the elastic just doesn't stretch far enough. My ass is huge. It's definitely been hard. It's been a hard adjustment. I think less of the bump. I really don't mind the bump, like she's cute. It's more here. And I've always struggled having boobs. They came in when I was like 9. A lot of unwanted attention in that department from a very young age, and it's hard. That for me is a hard area mentally. So yeah, that's kind of been one of the things that I have struggled. It's why you'll see me, I'll happily have the bump out, but like here I'm normally quite covered. But yeah, that's been my most difficult thing, but I'm not ever really surprised by it, because I just knew going into this that that was always gonna be the thing for me, so it almost isn't as bad as it could have been. What does it feel like to have a baby inside you? Basic but curious. Sometimes if she's not wiggling around, I forget she's in there, and it just feels like bloated, but like 100 times bigger. When she moves sometimes, I've had to describe it to people like this, like imagine you are about to have like an extreme bowel movement. IBS peeps will understand what I'm saying. And you feel everything inside your body like shift down. Sometimes when she like rolls around, that is genuinely what it feels like. But early on it feels, when they're moving, it just feels like almost like, fish do that. It feels a bit like that, or it feels like a gas bubble, but my gas bubbles were only up my sides. I actually don't know where on earth they go now. I don't feel that anymore. But early on, I remember there not being any space. I had so much trapped gas early on. It's actually really embarrassing. They couldn't check certain parts of me on an ultra scan, there was so much gas. But yeah, before it kind of felt like a gas bubble, but in the center and like really low down. But now that she's bigger, it's just like a full, there's an alien in there basically. Are you amazed at what your body is capable of doing? Yes and no, all in the same sense, because for some reason I just have always had this mindset of, and I don't know if it's because I started like my period so young and I got boobs so young, but I just always felt like my body was made for this, even down to like when I hold the dog and she just sits perfectly on like my hip bone, and I'm just like, I am missing something, there's just meant to be a child here. Yeah, I just always had this mindset of my body was made for this, like I genuinely believe that. So when it's doing the things, I'm actually kind of like not surprised. But then like the other day I was just sat in my bra and my pants, and I looked down and I can see my stomach is literally moving, and there's like a foot or something moving across my stomach, and I was just like, wow, as if there's actually like an actual human being in there. That's wild. So in equal measures, yes and no, but yes, mostly yes. Are you missing being able to drink? No, I think I've missed it maybe 3 times. One, literally Christmas Day, like an amaretto sour after dinner would be so fun. This is the thing, I'm a 1 drink, really maybe 2 kind of girl. And then the other 2 times were, we just had a week. One I think was probably 20-week scan week, or the week after when everything was like dying down, and I was like, God, I would just love to go out for dinner and have a margarita. And I think there's been another time where it's just been a bit of a week, and I was like, God, I'd just love to go out for some pasta and a wine. But apart from that, not really. But I was just never really a huge drinker. Like a few years back maybe, but the last 4 years, like I've just not really been a huge drinker anyway. It's not something that I've missed, but will I be having an Aperol in the sunshine at some point later this year? Yes, I will. And on that note, my battery is flashing. I'm gonna end this video. I hope you've enjoyed my little pregnancy Q&A. Oh, I should probably give you a bump update whilst I'm here before it cuts. But yeah, this is the t-shirt is doing we've got the Homer Simpson t-shirt line. But yeah, that is my bump. I think that's gonna be it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed hopefully some baby moon content on my Instagram. Yeah, love you, bye.